yeah, at least had everybody joined on time from that email, it probably, I would have been unmuted sooner. Ah, that's funny.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody, so I was like, I'm not sure if we're actually meeting. Like, am I in the wrong thing?
And
Which,
that makes total sense because I was asking a question like, "What do you think, Margarita?" And you weren't answering, so I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." Okay, so I'm going to start over. The very first thing, well, good morning, Tuesday Talk, November 9th. It's now 10:13 a.m. Thank you, Margarita, for joining me. And a lot of people, I don't think anybody has received the email yet. I don't see any in my sent box. So I'm not sure what the delay is. Maybe because after I sent the message this morning, I left my house and came into the office. So maybe I needed to stay connected to the internet. I don't know. But here we are, ready to go. So the first topic that I wanted to cover was about the Commission on Communication survey. So a lot of you should have received a survey. If you are not the local church lay leader, the communicator for the church, or the pastor at the church, you probably only got the email that explains, sorry, it's not spam. Here's what you should have received. And that's because, so first of all, what I did was I sent out the email about the survey specifically to those three categories of people at the church. And to get those three categories, I had to pull reports from our database. And each church, or each of those three categories, would receive a specific URL based on their church. So the email message would be a little bit customized for each church. And the way I did that was just a mail merge using Microsoft Word into Outlook. And that might not be something that some churches have done before. And honestly, it really does work. It works great for doing things like that. If your church ever needed to send out maybe something about stewardship campaigns where you're providing the exact, maybe the envelope number or what they had pledged or something like that, that might be a good use of this mail merge thing. I'm going to include the link that I use to follow the step-by-step. It really does work really well. Hey, Betty, I was just explaining what happened with well, I already explained. The email didn't go through. I don't know why. Now I'm explaining why the email that I had sent out about the communication survey was received it looked all jumbly. It basically didn't keep any of the formatting from the email, from the message in the Word document, no hard returns, no links. It just did everything like a run-on sentence. And so it just looked like a block of text. And I could see where it would have been really weird and kind of scary to get a message like that from me. Like, is this legitimate? What is this? Emails don't normally look like this. Even my signature line was just all wraparound, very weird. So I was multitasking when I was preparing that to send. So maybe I skipped a step, I don't know. But it has worked well before. You Betty. It has worked well before, so I still stand by. It's a good way to send out customized messages to a large number of people. So anyway, that's what happened the first time around. Sent really funky, and then to try to cover my bases, I just quickly sent it to the Tuesday Talk list, which includes more people than just the lay leader to each church and the communicator for each church and the pastor of each church. And in some cases, my list wasn't accurate anyway. I had some outdated information, maybe the lay leader that was at the church 2 years ago or a year ago or something. And in some cases, I was missing who the lay leader is. In many cases, I was missing who the communicator is. And part of that's just because we are in the charge conference season. So a lot of churches haven't voted on their new officers yet, so we haven't received the new information. But some of it could have just been human error. You know, maybe we didn't add the right profile at the right time or missed one person or something. But anyway, So I'm trying to get that all fixed up. And this communication survey, what we're doing with it is the Commission on Communication is using the data from that survey, which just asks questions like, where do you go to look up information, or how do you find out about what's going on at the church? Things like that. Or what do you want to see in the news that comes out from the conference or whatever. So it's information that the commission is going to use to make some decisions on how we can improve communications between churches, between the district, between the conference and the general church, to make sure we're all better connected. So if someone isn't getting the information that they need to make a decision about whatever regarding the church, at least ideally it's not because they're not getting the information. They maybe need additional information, but we're sharing everything that we have, everything that we, it would be useful, so people have what they need to make the next step in their spiritual journey, to consider a leadership position, to better collaborate with others, including church to church, to know what's coming up down the pike with things that were voted on an annual conference. And so the conference is working on XYZ, or that the district is working on whatever events for the local church, all based off of what was voted on at annual conference, that all the lay members to annual conference and clergy had decided, yes, this is important and we are going to work on this during this time frame. So anyway, that's how we would use it. But the really cool thing about this survey is that we, like I said, we have a unique URL for every church, so that it's also useful for the local church. Any of the churches that want to receive a copy of your church's survey results, just send me an email and I will get that report to you as soon as the survey closes. Then your communication team, your church council, however it is that your church functions, you guys can use this information to figure out where should you be focusing your communication efforts, where might you grow in communications based off of where people are already very active. A lot of times we make assumptions, like one of the assumptions that I recently was in a discussion about was when people don't have internet access. That doesn't necessarily really mean for all people that they really don't have internet access. It may be just that they're not interested in receiving church communications via email. Maybe that's really what they're talking about. And so this survey will show, and I'll use my in-laws as a perfect example. My father-in-law is blind, and my mother-in-law recently had a stroke, and she still hasn't fully recovered. And my father-in-law isn't, he has a Google Chrome, so he is technically on the internet. He just doesn't use his computer. He talks to his Google, and his Google can tell him what emails he has. So he can still receive emails, but my mother-in-law, who can see and type and everything, because of the stroke, she would say that she's not on the internet either. But she has discovered how to use her iPad to stay in touch on Facebook. So although she wouldn't at this time have the mental capacity to be able to manage an email address and would say, I don't have the internet, she is on Facebook, and she would love to stay connected with her church family and know what's going on and be able to comment on things, share a picture on Facebook. She'd love to get information on Facebook about her church. So, that's just one example of, sometimes we say people aren't on the internet, but they maybe are, or maybe do occasionally have access. Other times I get it, depending on where you live or what your economic situation is, no internet means no internet. That, totally get it. But anyway, this survey hopefully will bring some new information for churches that hopefully brings value for your communication strategy. So yeah, if you haven't done the survey yet, it's for you to complete and to share it with your church community. That's not just the members, it's the people that attend worship. It's people that participate in your missions or outreach, anyone that's involved with the church. Those are the people that we want to get that information from, and to be able to connect with them better, and for you guys to be able to connect with them better. So yeah, that's all about the Commission on Communication survey. Questions about that?
Yeah, I do have one question. Are you wanting us to send it out to our people or what?
Betty, I think your microphone on your headset's not connected. I think it's picking up just the audio on your computer or somewhere else.
I think you might be right, and I'm not sure.
You'll want to choose the external headset option. And while you're working that out, so the email about the survey, it did say that it closes on January 9th, 2021, and darn it, I even bolded it to make sure it was, everybody is aware. My mistake, it is January 9th, but it closes in 2022, not 2021. So we did that because typically surveys, you want to have them live for just a short amount of time and close it right away. But this time, because we're in the holiday season, that's why we left it open longer, to give churches that opportunity to decide when it's most appropriate to share the survey in your community. We didn't want to disrupt anything that you're doing. And we didn't want you to miss out on participating on the survey. Every single church participation is critical to the success of improving the communication. So that's why we left it open as long as we did. And Betty, no, your audio is still not connecting properly. Well, go ahead and type your question in the chat, and maybe we can address it that way. Or if you want to try your asking one more time, just speak up a little bit. It was hard to understand just because of the slight echo or reverb.
Try one more time.
Oh, that did it.
Got it? Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, so you're wanting us to send the survey to our members?
Yes.
Okay.
Please. And so I did send it to the church communicator, the pastor, and the lay leader, so that there can be a discussion about it. I don't want pastors to ever feel like, wait a second, who's sending what to my membership? Or for you guys as communicators to feel like, oh, I don't know if I should be doing this. Shouldn't I talk to the pastor? Never ever do I mean to tell anybody how to do their job, what to do in their job, or anything like that. These are requests. So please do have that conversation with your pastor. Ask him about, hey, did you get that email from Christina about the commission survey? And if you don't mind, go ahead and share with them as well that the church can get a copy of the survey results for your church as well. So that might be a reason to participate. If nothing else, it'll be a good thing for your church.
I have another question. I don't remember seeing anything that was reformatted. So were you able to send that out reformatted?
Yeah, the reformatted one went to the same Tuesday Talks list that I send the invitation.
Okay.
But if you didn't see it, you didn't get it, I'll include it as an attachment in my response for today's email. Okay, that's what I'll do. Now, it's not going to have each church's link in it, because that would be 130 something attachments. And it would confuse people and frustrate people too, to see all those attachments. So it'll just be the language, and then it'll say link. So if if you didn't see your email and need the link, just send me a message and I'll respond with your church's link. Okay. All right, next item. So the next item was about Canva. Canva is the answer, but the question was a local church question last week about what program is available that can resize design for social media, for your website, for PDF, quickly. And it wasn't just about resizing big and small, but that it's a smart resize where it'll shift things around so that it looks good on a smart, a phone or on an iPad or, whatever. So I was taking that as, Canva can do a resize, and if I'll include links that show how to do that. I can demo it. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do a quick demo just so you can see, let me go to here, how easy it is. I still want to include the links because there's a really cool part about Canva that maybe you guys haven't noticed, this learn part. If you go into these sections, you can find all sorts of different tutorials on how to do different things with Canva. Somewhere in here, I remember where I looked, maybe it wasn't in tutorials, was it 101? Maybe, or designing maybe. Perfect, there were videos like this that they're super duper short, and there was some that showed about resizing, how to create a pie chart. Anyway, they're just, you can see it's a 3-minute video, 32-second. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, that's just helpful tips. Yeah, I did send this one, so you'll get this link. And there's another one for resizing. But anyway, oh, no, that's starting to scale. That's something else. Okay, so I just want you guys to make sure at some point, take a look if you're ever feeling like, I like Canva, but I don't know about whatever. I don't know if I'm making the right color choices, if I'm making the right font choices. Take a look at this stuff. They've got some really great tips on graphic design, and it'll help you understand why you would choose white text over a black background or black text over a white background, and which one's better. Is it the dark background or the light background? There are specifics for all that stuff. So I'm going to show you guys, let's see here, should I do it with this one? Sure. So this particular design, I don't remember what it was for, but so here's how you would quickly resize something. You can choose the specific sizes, or you can choose if you want it. Let's say that I wanted it to be an Instagram story. So I would select that one, and if I just resize, then it's going to change this one. But if I do copy and resize, then it'll retain this one and open up a new project for the new size. So there it is, and there it is reformatted. So you can see in the previous one, that's how it was. And here it is in this new Instagram story format. So that's how quick and easy it is. And then for printing, you would go to download. And if I wanted to make it, PDF, just a regular PDF that I'm going to print myself, or if I was going to send it to a printer, then it would be this one. Of course, you select the pages that you want. And click done, and you can print it. So that's how quick and easy it is. I'm hoping that that's what it was that I was being asked about, but I was curious to know, and that was my suggestion, because this church said these are the different programs we're using. They were already using Canva, so I thought maybe they just didn't know that Canva can quickly resize things for you. It's a great time saver, and it doesn't always do it perfectly, but it did a bunch of it for you. You can always tweak it a little more to suit your needs or your preference. But I was curious if there's any other programs that people are using for resizing.
I wanted to tell you that I made my first Canva thing yesterday. I had several photos that people wanted shown, and I thought I cannot do individual photos, and so I wanted to do a collage. I went into Canva, and I managed to get a collage, but I I didn't realize there was a tutorial, so I need to go back and find out how to do it the right way. But anyway, I wound up with a pretty cool collage, and I saved it as a PNG. And then whenever I tried to download it into my email, it said too large. And I thought, okay, now what do I do? So what I wound up doing was I saved the collage. I printed it as a PDF, and then I was able to download it and it worked fine. But I figured there had to be a different way to do it. So now you've shown how to do it. So
No problem. So at some point, maybe some other Tuesday talk, I'll go into details about when to use a JPEG or a PNG or a PDF or a SVG, or all those different file formats, and what, not just when to use them, but what happens when you use them. 'Cause people don't always know about, I don't know. My best friend is PNG. I love PNG files, but you can always save it as a PNG as in a lower, like, compressed file size. But anyway, we'll talk about that some other time. There's a lot to go into with that. But yay, I'm glad it worked for you, Betty. Okay, so the next item was a demo on changing the order of a YouTube playlist. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen again. Oops, not that one. Okay, this one. Okay. Share. There we go. So here I am in the Desert Southwest Conference YouTube channel, and the question was about some of the playlists that they had. Like this one, for example, starts from the oldest and then it goes to the newest, and others go from, like, I think this one, yeah, this one I have to set up to show from the most recent to the oldest. So the way you can adjust those is you can go either to, where is it, your videos, I think. Oh yeah, I forgot. You can also go to show more, so you can find the specific playlist that you're looking for. So let me close that. Let's say I'm going to change my Tuesday Talk playlist. Again, right now it's in chronological order, showing the most recent video at the top. But if I wanted it to go like from oldest to newest, because maybe there's like a Bible study series or a sermon series, that would be a good one where, hey, video 1 has to be video 1. So you can go into playlist settings and, where is it? Add new videos to top of playlist. You would just turn that off, and then it goes to the default where it's just stacking. No, it's adding at the bottom oldest videos on the bottom. Wait, keeps the oldest. Anyway, it's backwards from what I have it. So that's how it would change, and you would click done. It doesn't always change it right away. So, give it some time and come back and check and see later. But that's one way of doing it. Another one would be what I was doing earlier. Where is it? More videos. Okay, is to go into this side. And let's see. There's Tuesday Talks again. Oh, wait, that's going to bring me to the same one. That's not it. Maybe it was with the analytics titles. There was another one where you can change it, like by dragging things around. Content. Well, I mean, I suppose you could. Oops, no, not there. Where was that? Where you change your dashboard itself. Oh darn, now I'm not remembering. Well, I will be sending you guys the link, video link to show you how. And I don't remember. Go ahead, Betty.
If you go back to that page that you had up originally, not, yeah, let's see. Whenever you had, you went to the Tuesday Talks page, go ahead and go there. And up at, you see the list there in the center, and up at the top it says sort. That's the one I had to use to get mine in order. By date added, because I decided most of my things have dates on them anyway, and so that's where I went.
I was saying thank you, and that I appreciate that. That's the way. That's another way of sorting it all out. Okay. Now, the next thing I wanted to show was the People of God campaign. So I'm going to share my screen again. That one I think is here. Let's close these. There we go. From Resource UMC. If you hadn't seen it yet, I don't remember if I included the link to this already, so I will be sure to include it in my follow-up email today. Basically, there's, let's see here, where is it? Download this month's graphics. More about this campaign. It's free for the local church to use, and they can customize stuff for your church. You know, with all the stuff going on with about the future of the church, and you know, uncertainty and whatever, it's nice to have some graphics. This is not a really good demo. This is not it. Where is it? Let me go back. I'm sorry. It's about using the campaign in your church, that you can use it, and you can, oh there, let's try view all the graphics. So I wanted to show you guys how there's a bunch of stuff, different themes that could work really well. It is all about basically different aspects about the United Methodist Church, what makes us unique. But, you know, so let's look at the resilient nature one in English. And did you notice there's a Spanish folder too? So that's kind of nice. And let's look at the social media one. So there's these different graphics that your church can use, and you know, you could customize it. You could use it as part of a sermon series, as part of, I don't know, what else could you use it for? Just as content for your social media. Oh my goodness. Trying to get back to the beginning again. View all the graphics. You know, there's lots of different things. I think you saw that there was also videos that you could use. See, there's the Spanish folder, and here's the English folder. Oh, perfect. There's the asset guide. So here's a bunch of details about it, hashtags that you can use, you know, the text or copy, the messaging that you can use for it. So these are the different, some of the different themes that are either available now or coming soon. So thought I'd share that with you guys. I will send you this link, and don't forget to go to either view all the graphics or download this month's graphics to access more about it, or to access the resources, sorry. So I probably hadn't seen that before. I just wanted to make sure that you were familiar with it, so that you could think about when or where you could use it down the road. Okay, now the last question I had was about a photo release form. So let's see here. Oh darn, I had a whole write-up about it. Oh, there it is. Okay, so The question from a local church was, we're wanting to redo our website and include some images from worship on the website. Do we have to use a photo release form? If it's our members, is that okay? Is it good enough for them to just give us a nod? Yeah, that's fine. Or do we have to have something in writing? So in general, and I'm going to send you guys a link to an article that we have on this subject. It's kind of an old article, but it's still, I think, perfectly accurate. But to double check, I also asked the general church, what insight do you have? What direction do you have? What resources do you have for the church? And so they sent me their write-up about it as well. And I think we were pretty much aligned, except for one spot where the article that we have from 2017, so it is old, but it's, like I said, it's still a good article and lots of good content in there. Anyway, in the article we mentioned that a church, so first of all, that, you know, if you're in a public space, you can take pictures and you can use the images in your media because it's a public space. So there's no guarantee or assumption made for people that, you know, I'm here in a public space, but I still have every right to my privacy and nobody can take my picture and blah, blah, blah. So if they were to sue you, because that's the other side, is they still can sue you. You know, even if they're in a public space, they still can sue the church. They still can sue whoever it is, or, you know, agency, organization, company, individual that is taking the picture and using it in their publication. So they still can sue you, but if they sue you, it's not likely that they're going to win because you're in a public space. So there's nothing in their corner to protect them from privacy, you know, or to protect their privacy in that area. But the disagreement between the general church and our article was, we're saying that technically a church isn't public property because it's not owned by the government. So a government space would be public property. A park is public property. But a church is not owned by the government, so it's not technically public property. And so I did email the general church again to ask them about that side of it. What do you think? What are your thoughts? I haven't heard anything yet. But anyway, so I'm going to send you guys what they're saying about when and how to use a photo release form. And I'll send you the article that we've got about it. And both of them at the bottom have sample documents that you can customize to use at your church if you don't already have something. But our article just includes sample like messages that you could use in your bulletin, that you could use in your social media, if you're live streaming, you know, things like that. I think it had something about the live streaming. Were you going to say something, Margarita? No? Okay. So, yeah, that's pretty much it of what I had for that stuff. Any questions or thoughts from you all? No? Go ahead, Betty. Oh, okay. Then I guess we're done. Thank you so much for joining me. For those of you that are watching this recording, I'm so sorry that you missed it. I'm not sure why my message didn't go through, other than I started it before I left for work, and maybe I should have waited until it all finished before I unplugged my computer and left to work. So maybe that's what happened. I don't know. But according to our database, all the messages were sent. So I don't know. Anyway, have a great rest of your week. And I want to let you know if I'm going to be on next week. And yes, so we'll see you next week.